You know those messages, the urgent emails, the alarming texts? We've all gotten them. But what if I told you that the real target isn't your computer, it's your brain? Yeah. Today, we're diving into the fascinating and, let's be honest, kind of scary psychology behind the modern scam. We're going to pull back the curtain and see exactly how these criminals have gotten so good at hacking our minds.
Okay, so let me ask you a quick question. When you think about staying safe online, what's the first thing that pops into your head? Is it your password? Making sure it's super complicated? Or maybe it's that antivirus software or the firewall you're supposed to have running.
Well, believe it or not, it's none of those things. Your single biggest security risk, it isn't in your computer at all. It's right here. In your head, it's all about the predictable ways our brains are wired. And here's the really scary part. Scammers know how our brains work, sometimes even better than we do.
And that brings us right to the heart of the problem. I mean, think about it from a scammer's perspective. Why would you spend months trying to break through a super complex firewall when you can just trick a person in a few minutes? So that's exactly what they do. Criminals have pivoted. They've become absolute experts at hacking the human. This whole technique actually has a name. It's called social engineering. And really, it's just the art of psychological manipulation. It's got nothing to do with code. It's all about playing confidence games. And get this, cybersecurity experts are all saying that this, not some fancy computer virus, is the single most common type of attack out there today. That's wild. So how does this all actually work? It might seem random, but it's not at all. Scammers follow a surprisingly simple, repeatable playbook. And the cool part is, once we break it down for you, you'll start seeing these attacks coming from a mile away.
So the whole playbook really just boils down to these three simple steps. First up, they impersonate someone you trust. Like your bank, a big tech company, or even the government. Step two, they create fear. They invent some kind of crisis that makes you feel like your money or your data is in immediate danger. And finally, step three, they isolate you. They do everything they can to make sure you don't talk to anyone else while they've got you on the hook.
All right, so why is this playbook so darn effective? Well, it's because it perfectly exploits our brain's natural blind spots. See, we all have these little mental shortcuts. They're called cognitive biases, and they're there to help us make quick decisions every day. But what scammers have figured out is how to turn those very helpful shortcuts against us. Just think of it like this. On a normal day, these mental shortcuts are great. They're super helpful. They stop us from getting stuck overanalyzing every single tiny decision. But scammers create this high-stress, high-pressure situation on purpose. It's specifically designed to weaponize those shortcuts, basically forcing our brains to misfire.
Let's take a look at the first one. It's called the urgency bias. You know that feeling when a deadline is closing in and you just have to rush to get things done? Yeah, that's it. Scammers absolutely thrive on that feeling. Their entire goal is to stop you from thinking and force you to just react. And you can see it in the language they use, right? Things like act right away or catastrophic loss. This stuff isn't an accident. It's pure psychological warfare. It's designed to trigger that urgency bias, to completely shut down your critical thinking and just slam your brain's panic button. At that point, you're not analyzing the situation anymore. You're just trying to stop the disaster.
Okay, next up is a huge one, authority bias. I mean, since we were kids, we're basically taught to trust people in positions of authority, right? Doctors, police officers, and yeah, tech support from a giant, trusted company. Scammers rely heavily on that built-in instinct to just obey. So when that call comes in, and they claim to be from a trusted name like Microsoft, what they're really doing is borrowing that company's credibility. Your brain's little shortcut kicks in and goes, oh, okay, this is a legitimate helper, which makes you way more likely to give them remote access or hand over information you'd never normally share. And then they layer on one final trick, the scarcity bias. You've probably heard of this as FOMO, the fear of missing out. It's classic. Our brains are just wired to put a higher value on something we think is about to disappear. It could be a concert ticket or, in this case, access to our own bank account. And this is where they just create a totally false consequence. The scammer manufactures the scarcity out of thin air. It's not a limited time offer on some new gadget. It's a limited time offer to keep access to your own money. That threat of permanent loss, even if it's fake, is designed to make you panic and act impulsively. So when you put all of this together, what's the single best defense we have? It's simple, knowledge. Just knowing that these things, urgency, authority, and scarcity biases even exist, and learning to spot when they're being used against you,
That is the most critical step you can possibly take to protect yourself.
Okay, so we've gone through the psychology and we know their playbook. Now for the most important part of all, what can we actually do about it? How do we build up our defenses? Well, it's actually a lot simpler than you might think.
So here it is, your 5-step defense plan. First, and this is huge, verify the source. If you get a suspicious call or message, just hang up. Go find an official number or website on your own and reach out to them directly. Second, stay calm and don't rush. This is the ultimate antidote to their urgency trick. Just take a breath. Give yourself a second to think. Third, secure your devices. Yeah, good antivirus and security software, they still really matter. Fourth, trust your instincts. And I mean that seriously. If something just feels off, it probably is. And finally, number 5, stay informed. Keep learning about these tactics, which is exactly what you're doing right now.
So let's just end with this thought. A scammer's entire strategy relies on one thing: you being in the dark. They are betting on your fear, your trust, and your instinct to act fast without thinking. But here's the thing. You're not in the dark anymore. Now you know their playbook. You can see the biases they're trying to trigger. So the next time that phone rings or that urgent email pops up, you'll be ready. The question isn't what they're going to do. It's what you are going to do. Because now, you're the one in control.